We're now joined by Mitul Kotecha. He is the head of global forex strategy at Credit Agricole. Welcome, Mitul. Good to see you. What's your reaction to Portugal asking for a bailout?
Well, I think it's no surprise. The question at the moment, of course, is the government is in limbo because there's elections in June. And so any bailout now or any loan may just be a bridging loan ahead of the elections, at which point we'll probably see a more significant longer-term loan being given to Portugal. But the fact that they've asked for a bailout, I think was really something that was widely expected. Current rates, market rates, Portugal was finding it very difficult to sustain itself and its borrowing, and so I think no one's really surprised at the move that we saw, the announcement of the request for a bailout.
Another thing that's widely expected today, Mitul, is this rate hike from the ECB, but that just exacerbates the problem for Portugal and the other nations on the periphery.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It will create more tensions for the Eurozone periphery. Of course, the core European countries will be quite happy with a rate hike. Germany, of course, will be pushing for one given the strength of its economy. But the likes of Portugal, Spain, Greece, etc., will come under more and more economic pressure as rates move up. And, you know, as the borrowing costs for a lot of homeowners and businesses go up. But at the same time, the ECB will probably provide some liquidity support to the banking sector to help alleviate some of the pain of the higher interest rates. So it may not all be negative news for European peripheral countries, but nonetheless, taken together with a very strong euro at the moment and higher interest rates, it's clearly going to compound the economic pressures.
Well, this is it. You just heard Danny Blanchflower talking about how many of Spain's borrowers, the majority of them, are on variable rate mortgages. This is going to hit them where it really hurts.
Well, exactly. The Spanish housing market, of course, is under pressure. We know that is leading to a lot of problems with the savings banks in Spain. House prices are still on their way down, and having higher borrowing costs at the same time will be really a big blow to many mortgage holders in Spain, given the fact that there is a very, very high proportion of variable rate mortgages. So I think this is going to be more negative news. Clearly, that doesn't help the Spanish economy. We know that there is a sum set aside for recapitalization of Spanish banks and savings banks, but whether that's enough is another question. So I think there's still some question marks over Spain. I don't think it's going to be a bailout contender anytime soon, but I think there is still some stress here.
Not a bailout contender anytime soon for Spain, then. Tell me about the euro. Where do you expect it to peak? I mean, we know that the ECB is expected to make more rate hikes throughout this year. Is there any chance, though, that they could just hike once and then pause as a gesture?
I think there's a very limited chance that they would do that. I think the reality is that the market, having priced in 75 basis points of hikes in total this year, is probably about right. We're going to see a move now, followed by a short pause and then further hikes in the rest of the year. But the ECB, I think the point for the euro is that the euro is priced in 75 basis points of tightening already. And unless the ECB is ultra hawkish, I find it very difficult to see the euro moving much higher from current levels. So we've broken 142.50, which was a big resistance level. Our markets will now eye the 145 level. We may test that, of course, on a very hawkish spin from the ECB. But I do believe the downside risks to the euro are beginning to mount up. And I think our forecast, our end-year forecast, is still 125. That still holds. We're still bearish on the euro for the remainder of this year.
Mitul Kotecha from Credit Agricole, thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you.